as the class gap widens, 4-0 is a little flattered. Go to England. This was England's luckiest test of the Ashes. After winning the toss on the first day, they had much the better of the batting condition. Their own meagre first innings on the second day afforded them 20 overs at Australia with a new ball, offering them a second chance. The surface did not penalize their deficiency in slow bowling. They benefited by some dropped catches and traces of Australian weariness. It availed them not. If anything, the disparity in class yawned wider. Where Travis Head was able to ford his way to 100, no visiting batter made more than 36 or lasted longer than 2 hours. On the final evening, as the batting imploded after a promising start, only Joe Root could claim to have been undone by something unplayable. 10 for 56 in 22.3 overs was comprehensively covered by Hume's full description of the life of man: solitary, poor, nasty, brutish and short. In some ways, it has been a deceptive series for England's followers all along. Had you known in advance, for example, that David Warner would average 34 and Steve Smith 30, that Marnus Labuschagne would be restricted to a solitary 100 and be outscored by Travis Head, you'd have been optimistic. Had you known that Mark Wood would be England's leading wicket taker, you'd have been ecstatic. With those extra knots and skiddy trajectory, he was expected to be used sparingly, to be the English X factor. In fact, he played 4 tests, was let down in the end by the absent Y and Z factors. The luck that came his way here would heartily deserved. It was the reward for a summer-spreading discomfort and unsettling footwork. Scott Boland and Mitchell Starc were summarily jolted by speed and bounce. Travis Head neither hooked nor defended nor avoided a ball on leg stump. Smith, so far to the off on occasions that all 3 stumps are visible behind him, hooked as compulsively as Hilditch of yore. The notion that the vice-captaincy would buoy Smith's batting confidence this season, in fact, has proven unfounded. Maybe it has even been a distraction. There seems a lot going on under Smith's helmet at any given time, a swirl of instinct, intelligence, emotion and quasi-mysticism, murmurings about losing his hands, and shadow batting in his pyjamas. For the moment he looks like a water diviner whose dowsing rod has turned into a candy cane. Had Alex Carey been bowled by Chris Woakes on 19, Australia would have been just 206 to the good with only 3 tail-end wickets in hand. In fact, Woakes was deemed to have trespassed the front line, and Carey later reprieved again by electronic pedantry. It is a long time, of course, since the decision review system was used, as originally intended, to eliminate howlers, but the third umpire's mission creep is an increasingly tedious index of the game's neuroses. Does it even make sense to police in microns a front line designed by human hand? Perhaps only in cricket, postmodern and pre-modern, technological and pastoral. The target of 271 to win England's first test in Australia in 11 years, set against an average series first innings score of 210, was then purely academic, although it took a diligent spell from Cameron Green either side of tee to crack England's chase open. With all due respect to Boland, Green has been the revelation of the series, having come into it without a test wicket, and become integral to Australia's pace bowling squeeze. At more than 140 km/h coming wide on the crease and descending from more than 200 centimeters, his deliveries pose extraordinary difficulties to left-handers in particular. There is certainly nobody in the England ranks who allows their batters to rehearse against his mode of attack. Once Green had removed Rory Burns, the rest followed in familiarly tame fashion, with routine technical errors. David Mallon was hemmed in from round the wicket. The infatuations of Ollie Pope and Zach Crawley with off-stump guards caught up with them. Ben Stokes and Chris Woakes threw their hands away. Sam Billings perished to a timid stroke.